Hello everyone, Sunderek here. This is a video on the new update on the 1.5, the first half of the Abyss. What is the Blessing of the Abyssal Moon, and what are the enemies that is in floor 9 to 12. For floors 1 to 8, I haven't done in a while, so I would say I'm not the best person to ask. There are lots of videos on YouTube that talks about how to clear floor 1 to 8 if you need help with that. So first of all, let's take a look at the Blessing of the Abyssal Moon. Essentially, to summarize here, the more normal hits you land on opponent, the higher stacks you get in terms of physical damage. And once all 5 stacks are reached, you get 1 shockwave per second that deals further damage. But every single time you hit opponent, it only increases by 1 stack, no matter how many opponents you hit. So this is potentially very good for Yuna, who's coming on the second banner after Zhongli. But as of right now, I think the main way to utilize this is by using at least one electro character in every team. As you will also see in the enemy lines up in the Abyss, there are a lot of crowd enemies floor 9 to 10. So if you bring one electro character who constantly procs electro, you can essentially proc superconduct most of the time, which decreases enemy physical resistance by 40% on top of this, which will help you do a lot of physical damage. So now let's go to the Genshin's wiki page, and we can see exactly what enemies will be in the Abyss from floor 9 to 12. So as you can see, most stuff are actually pretty much the same as the previous versions. For 4.9, the effect is shear code again, and there will be 2 of those tower-like structures that are on the field that will be activated the whole time, and you have to protect those from being attacked enough times by monsters to deactivate it. So that is that. The enemy-wise, as you can see, there is a lot of cryo enemies, so I would recommend using lots of pyro characters, and on top of that, at least one electro character, which can help with superconduct, which increases your physical damage output, and on top of that, it pops overload with pyro, which in turn causes explosion, which is good against shields. Second chamber is the same, a lot of cryo enemies. For these ones, you would have to match exactly which element you need to pop which element's shield. So for example, here, the cryo one, you would use a pyro character to pop the shield, and for the electro one here, you would need a cryo character to pop the shield. The last chamber is pretty much the same as the first chamber, all cryo characters, so Pyro and Electro team would do well here. Floor 10 is the same as last time as well. The effect is shear code again, except this time it's warming Sealies that will be moving around the field. As long as you're close enough to the Sealy, you will not get the shear code effect. The first half is cryo enemies again, so the same composition would work. The second half is a mix. The cryo abyss mage, you would need a pyro character to pop the shield. The Fatui Electro Mage, you would technically need a cryo character, but since the mage's shield are not strong enough, plus they don't appear very often, normally you can brute force your way through without a shield. Plus the character, if you use a pyro attack on top of it, it would create overload with the mage's shield, which would help break the shield because overload causes explosions. And also beware of the 2 Hydro Symmetros here. I would recommend killing them first, otherwise you might get frozen. Second chamber is pretty much the same here. Again, a lot of um cryo enemies here. So as you can see, 3 cryo enemies here. And for the cryo Fatui system mage, I would recommend bringing a pyro character because her shields does come much more often compared to the Electro Mage, so having a pyro character would be handy when you need to pop those shields. And then the last floor, if you continue with the previous setup, it will pretty much work. And for Fatui Pyro Agent, you don't need anything because he doesn't have a shield. Also, another tip with the Fatui Pyro Agent is to make sure at least one element is applied on him at all times, so when he goes invisible, you can still see the aura of the element. If that's the case, essentially his invisibility trick will not work on you. Floor 11 is the same as last time as well. The effect is slowing water, which greatly increases your cooldown, its skill cooldown, if you do not have another element inflict on you. Until you remove it, your cooldown will be greatly increased. For this floor, I would recommend one, at least for the second chamber, I would recommend one character that gathers enemies. So Venti, Sucrose, or to some extent, Jin can do the trick. Or if you have any bow users with the BP weapon, the Battle Pass weapon that creates a small vortex, that will do the trick as well. For this one is normally the tough one that needs specific matching to get rid of all their shields. So the Anemo Boxer's shield is only up temporarily, so you do not need to worry about that. The Hydro one you would need, I believe, a Cryo one to pop the shield. A Pyro one will work as well, but Cryo normally does better because it freezes while their shield is on, so you essentially avoid taking damage from the gunner. The Electro one again requires Cryo one as well, or a Pyro one, and the Geo one requires a Geo character. So the first half again, one Pyro character here will probably be able to pop both of their shields, and as for this, this is a new guy from the We Will Be United. This is the new guy from there. I believe he's Hydro. Yes, so this is the Abyss Herald. He is Hydro. He will have a shield that you will need to pop, so if you bring one Cryo character, it will be pretty handy, but currently we don't know how strong he is, so if he's not strong enough, you might be able to brute force your way through it, but I would recommend bringing a character that can pop his shield. Cryo and Pyro would work in this case. Floor 12 has some pretty drastic changes. Each of the Whooper flowers are added. Again, for the Pyro one, you use a Cryo or Hydro shield, Hydro character, and for the Cryo one, you just use a Pyro character. The second half, again, I would recommend adding a enemy gathering character to your team. So Venti, Jin, or Sucrose would do the trick. And the third floor, the second half of the second floor looks a bit interesting. These are the characters that you fight when you fight the Oceanid. And normal Abyss Mages, again, use the correct elements to pop the shield. But you probably want at least one shield character here, as most of these ones can get super annoying at times. If you have Gangyu, she is clearly recommended for this one because if you have fought Oceanid with Gangyu before, you would know how easy it is compared to some of the other characters. This is the new guy that is introduced alongside the Abyss Herald, but have not appeared in any game yet. So this is the higher level of the Abyss Mage per se. So he's a Catalyst user, and his big advantage against us is that he will also increase your cooldowns by a lot. So you can see all of his attack here. I'm not going to read all of that, but yeah, just beware. Bring characters with low cooldowns will help because he does increase the cooldown by quite a bit. And again, these are just normal ones you should know, but you can refer to my earlier parts on which characters to use to pop their shields. That's all the information I have for you today. If you like the content, please consider subscribing. I'm new to YouTube, but I've been playing Genshin since launch, and I've grinded quite a bit for the game, so I would like to share my tips and guides with you guys. Thank you and have a nice day.